Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And yeah, this is the kind of day you can look at your portfolio and it is a little bit fun, right? Bitcoin up 12%. We had a high in the last 24 hours of 39,280 on coin market cap, but a little bit of a pullback right now, pretty much leveling off at 38,000. There's a 10% increase in the total market cap, 1.5 trillion is where we're at. And DeFi climbing yet again, 11.27% of the total volume is tied up in DeFi, 11.6 billion. I'm going to project that before the summer is over, we're going to see that 11.27 number climb up to 15%. And when I was looking at the volume spikes that were going into Bitcoin today, it all started at about 8 o'clock in the morning, Japan time. There was a big amount of money that went in at 8 and then at 9 and then even more at 10 o'clock this morning. Right now, the volume is pretty much leveling off. And so I'm not sure if we're in the middle of a bull trap or not, but I am like everyone else watching Bitcoin, because as you can see, when Bitcoin is feeling good, the whole market is feeling fantastic. VeChain up 22% in the last 24 hours. Zilliqa up 18%. Hedera up 17%. Doge up 14%. Algo up 12%. Litecoin and ADA up 10%. Quant up 6%. Actually, it's had a phenomenal last few days. And then Stellar and Tezos up 7%, respectively. So there is another token that is outside of the top 100. It's actually ranked, I think, 252. And it had a lot of media coverage today in Japan. This is the game token Gala. Gala Games is, wow, they're having a phenomenal day, week, and month. That's why I think they're getting a lot of coverage here in Japan. They're 11% in the last 24 hours up and 53% up in the last 7 days, 145% up in the last 14 days, and 207% up in the last 30 days. So May 1st, if you remember, this token is going to move off of Ethereum and come onto the Flare network, and you'll be able to mint your Gala NFTs on that new platform. So this is the kind of media coverage we really want to see to get the word out as to what is going on. And so I was really pleased to see this article in Japan on CoinPost. All right, the Central Bank of Singapore. This is an acronym that you should learn. This is MAS, M-A-S, Monetary Authority of Singapore. And the reason why you want to know it is because it's quickly becoming the role model, if it's not the role model, for governments around the world. A month ago, MAS offered cash prizes for digital currency ideas. Can you believe it? To anyone who could come up with a vision. And they had 50,000 Singapore dollars to be distributed for those ideas that they felt were great. And today, the article came from Cointelegraph that there was an independent survey done. 43% of Singaporeans own crypto. That's a big number. And when you actually look at the report, they got a score of 63 out of 100. Those points are measured at looking at the adoption. Now you can compare another country that had this same comparison or same survey, and that's Australia. Australia got a score of 47. So 47 versus 63, fair amount of difference. 93% of people in Singapore are familiar with at least one cryptocurrency. 90% of people have that familiarity with Bitcoin, 44% with Ethereum, Litecoin 33%. The reason why Litecoin is so high is because of Charlie Lee, of course. He has those ties in that region. And then also XRP, 26% of Singaporeans are familiar with XRP. The age group who owns the most crypto, age 25 to 34. That's about the same range of age that follows my channel. I have analytics that Google gives me, and I can really see the sector. I mean, it's spread out across the board from 18 all the way to over 65. But I think the majority of the age group that watches this channel, based on my metrics that Google gives me, is that same 25 to 34. 82% HODL Bitcoin, 24% HODL XRP, and 15%, which is very high, I think, HODL Chainlink. Yeah, I don't have any Chainlink in my portfolio. Singapore is just not ahead in crypto adoption and regulation, but it is also the first place to have had a 3-on-3 basketball event back in 2010 at their Youth Olympic Games. And now officially, as you can see in the Olympic program for Tokyo, we are enjoying that same 3-on-3 play. I love it. It was, this is what has been done in the urban city public courts for years. I think the reason why I like it is that it's faster, and so it makes it a little bit more fun to watch. I don't know if you've caught any of the 3-on-3 games on the Olympic events yet, but it's good. I like it. All right, so something to watch here is going to be Brad Garlinghouse. He's going to be at the Aspen Institute Security Forum. He's got a 45-minute time slot. The topic is two sides of the coin, the promise and the peril of cryptocurrency. That word peril makes me shiver. Joining him is the CEO of the Diem Association. Diem, of course, is the Facebook coin project. So that's going to be, I think, an interesting addition. And the former Undersecretary of Treasury for the Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Sigal Mondelker. I hope I said her name right. She is one that has a really interesting resume or CV, and she worked under Trump. She's now in Palo Alto, and she's with the venture capital and private equity firm called Ribbit on University Avenue there. I took a look at what they have placed their bets on. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's Nubank in Brazil, which I keep trying to tie XRP and RippleNet to, but I just have not been able to do it. Coinbase and there's lots of names you would recognize, lots of names. So they're really into the crypto space heavy. And the reason why I think you're going to be able to enjoy it is the Aspen Institute has a very active YouTube channel. 16 videos were uploaded just in the last week. So I think you're going to be able to see their panel. And as I was perusing through those different videos, there's an interesting one here with Joseph Lubin. He is with them sharing a conversation about 2 weeks ago. He is the co-founder of Ethereum, and he was asked, will the feds displace Ethereum? A lot of these questions and the audience, based on some of the questions that were asked before they started, didn't know a whole lot about crypto, because this Aspen Institute is not necessarily 100% focused on crypto. Their interest is much wider than that. So a lot of people, I think, well, she was a good interviewer because she asked questions that probably weren't too difficult to understand. But I want you to listen to Joseph when he replies to this question that he gets. And basically, with the CBDCs or the digital dollar and all of the digital currencies coming out of the central banks, she was under the impression that maybe possibly it was going to displace Ethereum. And I just want you to hear how that answer came out.
What about central banks? Because, I've spent a lot of time talking to central banks in the last couple of years about this, and they've moved from a position of absolute horror and scorn to very suddenly, in the last 2-3 weeks, what I call the Basel tribe, the group of central bank governors around the BIS in Basel, have suddenly, I wouldn't say come behind it, but indicated that they're not only running their own innovation centers, but they are planning in some cases to issue central bank digital currencies, which are not the same as Bitcoin, but they're moving into this space. So 2 questions. Are you worried that they're basically going to displace you and disintermediate you? Because if the Fed were to issue a digital currency, how on earth would you possibly compete with that? And are you in any way seeing a potential to try and collaborate with them instead, and for those dusty old central bank governors to start working with the cool kids on the block like you?
So we've worked with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, with the South African Reserve Bank. Currently, we're working with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Bank of Thailand. PBOC is in the mix on a regional experiment. The BIS is overseeing a lot of that work. So we are very happy to facilitate the use of the technology for those kinds of institutions. We've had talks with the Fed. It'll be interesting how these systems are rolled out. So China's currently ahead of the pack. I'm not so worried about China rolling out their digital currency system early. Part of their interest is similar to the One Belt, One Road initiative, where they entice partners to get into their system. But ultimately, the rule of law is going to win in the situation, and the United States is going to be just fine from a reserve currency perspective. The United States has a project going on, and very recently, Randall Quarles, who I think he's the chairman of
he's in charge of
the FSB, Financial Stability Board, and he's a board member at the Fed. He indicated that he wasn't concerned about stablecoins. So stablecoins are a monetary construct on Ethereum that basically either represents a digital asset in a bank, one-to-one to the dollar, or there are mechanisms where they're over collateralized in different ways. So it's nice. So that's a cryptocurrency that is a stable unit of account, which is really valuable. He indicated essentially that, hey, we shouldn't be worried about these stable coins. Private organizations have been issuing money since the start of the Federal Reserve. That's how money gets created. Private commercial banks are essentially given permission based on reserve ratios to issue new money into the world. And so there doesn't seem to be a philosophical concern about having these systems out in the world. And if some of them are competitive, if some of them have different capabilities, then that's just choice. That's optionality. And
I suspect there may not be a philosophical problem. There may be a political and power problem, because I don't think anywhere in history a group of elites who control things have said, yes, we're dying to give power to the crowd.
Sure.
So that's pretty much it. And I don't necessarily agree 100% with what Joseph is saying. I have a feeling it's not really being just accepted that easily. As you know, they had the meeting for the President's Working Group on Financial Markets to discuss stablecoins just this last July 19th. Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, Gary Gensler, and there's the Randall Quarles that he talked about. Also, the acting comptroller of the currency, that's Brian Brooks' old position, and also the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation chairman and the chairman for the Commodity Futures Trading Commission also showed up at that meeting. I looked very hard trying to find meeting notes, or any sort of announcement about what is going on from their time together. I can't find anything. If you can find something, let me know. I can't find anything, but I'm sure we're going to hear shortly. All right, kind of moving to a new subject. I put out this tweet here. This is the exchanges that don't prioritize properly, I think, and support the Songbird token that is coming for the platform that we'll use as a canary network to test and learn and get ready for the FlareNetworks mainnet to launch. I think they're going to leave a ton of money on the table, these exchanges that don't support. They're going to lose loyalty. They're going to also damage their brand. We heard from BTC Markets in Australia, and I didn't buy their excuse at all, not at all, because the exchanges that are supporting the distribution of Flare will also receive that Songbird token in the same address that they were that they provided for the Flare distribution. So I just don't buy that it's a whole lot of work for them, and I just don't buy it. So I think the decision that BTC markets took to not support this drop is a bad one. And so I want you to listen to what Hugo Filion has to say here in regards to the Songbird token being distributed by the exchanges, the actual power that they have to make that happen. So please listen to this. This is an interview that was really great. It's by the FTSO.au. Tim Rowley. This just came out just a couple of days ago on the 24th. Yeah, so Saturday. And it was really fantastic. It's a little long, but so much information here about the new platform. And I'm kind of was surprised, only 3,000 views so far. But I'm going to pull that portion out that talks about the actual drop. Here you go.
So Flare has had a really good adoption with exchanges and getting, listed in a sense, or the intention to be listed. But what about Songbird? Is that also going to be listed on these same exchanges?
Songbird is something that, is much sort of harder for us to just tell exchanges to do. That's going to require, if you want listing of that, that's going to require a ground swell of desire.
Okay, so just remember, it's gonna take some groundswell of desire. That's coming from people like you and me.
I think probably it'll be very useful for people to show that Songbirds, in use is robust and all those robust enough for it to be listed. I think distributed by exchanges, I would hope that most exchanges distribute it. Can't guarantee it, but I would hope that. I see no reason why they wouldn't want to. But again, it's Songbird is, because it's not the main product. We can't talk to exchanges and be like, you have to do this. It's optional for them, but we get the feeling that many will end up listing it, or at least distributing it to people once they see that the people in the community want it. So
again, once the people in the community, when they see that they want it, so we're going to have to really, really, really get after these exchanges. I mean, be that squeaky wheel.
I think that's just a necessary thing to communicate to them, and all the exchanges will be getting it, as per they would be getting the FLR token. So, one thing I want to address is there's been a lot of conversation about various exchanges that maybe have changed their rules. This is the problem of using a centralized company for holding your decentralized currency. There's nothing we can do about that. I wish there was. There's just nothing we can do about it. It's not the way it is. That's why decentralized systems were created, so that you don't have to be at the whim of a board of directors at some company that you have never seen, touched, or heard other than to use their website. So I wish we could talk to those exchanges and get them to somehow re-include whatever domains they're no longer including, but we can't. And if you want perfect control of your currency, then you must self-custody, and that is a responsibility of each token holder to do that.
Yeah, that is 100% correct. All right, everybody, we're jumping to a little bit of fluff. And this is the gold medal winner today. She's one of the youngest athletes ever to get a gold medal. She's only 13. This is Momiji Nishia, and she won the gold in the skateboarding event. Actually, Japan picked up a gold and a bronze today. And we have this whole different website in Japan, which is the JOC. It's the Japan Olympic Committee website. They made some of the coolest graphics for the medal winners, and this is the one that they made for Nishia Momiji. Momiji is her first name. Momiji is the coolest name ever, ever, ever. What it means, this is her kanji right here. What it means is, well, let me just tell you, this is the radical for wood, this is flower. So what it means is the autumn color that you see when you get those vibrant orange, red, and fiery fall colors when the leaves turn just before they go into winter. That's Momiji. And I just love the fact that her parents gave her that name. This is an example of some spectacular Momiji that is at the Daogo-ji Temple in Kyoto. Kyoto has spectacular fall views. It's not so great for springtime sakura. People might disagree with me on that, but I think that for Kyoto is the best place to go for culture, if you like the old Japan. And it's got a lot of UNESCO sites. This happens to be one of those UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And it's just gorgeous in the new springtime and summer and fall, because it's got the four seasons strongly. And this is just so beautiful, this particular temple. I've been to this temple twice. And have I ever seen the fall? No, I have not seen. Actually, both times I went to this temple, it was not fall. But you know what's so great is look at the combination. I pulled out my favorite. When you can see the moss green against that red and orange leaf color. I love the combination. So cool, right? So Momiji is the best name. Here is from that temple just 3 days ago. I found this on Twitter. Someone was there. So this is a summertime view. Still beautiful, right? And I just thought I'd leave you with tonight's sunset. This is the Tokyo sky tonight. It's not from my place. I shall show you sometime. I'll show you a picture sometime of the view I have. This is from Jenny in Japan. I think her name is Jenny in Japan. Yeah, and she uploaded this, and it's 3 hours ago now. She calls it a cotton candy sky. But we get these dramatic skies often, actually. So anyway, yes, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.